Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Jacqueline King here, and I am with the lovely Pastor Reva Watkins. And as promised, we said we were going to come on and have a little chit chat with the ladies. How you doing, Pastor Reva?
I'm great, Dr. King. I'm excited to be with you to talk to the ladies of BWE. We're gonna have a good time today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll let them fill up the room. Come on in, share the broadcast. Let everyone know that the queens are on, and we're going to be talking girl talk, empowering you, giving you some nuggets. And what we said we were going to focus on today was how women are making out in the pandemic, post-pandemic. And so I know that you have a lot of women in your church, in your ministry. What's the buzzword where you are?
So here in Orlando, many of you know our governor is a little bit different as it relates to mask mandates and protection and things like that. So some churches still have not entered the sanctuary yet. Their sanctuary. A lot of ministries across the United States have started church again in person. So we're virtual still as well. We were virtual before, then we came back in, and now we're going to go start in person in October. So it's still a feeling of heaviness at times, dealing with not being able to meet, and a lot of times with women, because of our responsibilities, as you know, Dr. King, you raise your children, you are a powerhouse in yourself, but being able to carry those multiple hats and responsibilities, and then on top of it, being safe, it does cause a little bit of mental anguish. And if you're not careful to check yourself, you can find yourself in a downward spiral. And so I think it's great that we're coming on today to make sure that everyone is in a place of mental health and a place of encouragement to be strong during this post-pandemic, coming out of it, and not be battle fatigued.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, both of my children are grown. But one of the things that I'm hearing is that women are struggling. They were struggling with trying to be a teacher and a mom and all of that. What do you hear about that? I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, my kids are grown as well. So I just know how it was when they were younger. It was difficult, but during the pandemic, it's been really difficult because women are working full-time jobs. Then a lot of times they have to print the paperwork out. They have to be the teacher. They have to go over the exams. And so they are literally exhausted, trying to carry all of that weight. And you want your child to succeed. So you're going to give it your best. And then when you don't even understand the problems or the answer, now you have to find yourself studying in order to teach your child. And it's been very difficult, not only for the teaching part, but then also for care. What do you do when you have to go to work, but now your children need someone to babysit them or care for them during the day? So it's been very stressful for a lot of women, especially single women.
Exactly. I was going to mention that, single women, but even in the low income. So I know that my father just retired at 84, believe it or not, and he was a school bus driver. And so one of the things that they did in Guilford County, North Carolina, was, because there was no school, he took the bus and he sat for 8 hours in the low income areas with Wi-Fi on the bus, so that the kids that didn't have Wi-Fi, I know it's pretty interesting, could actually do their homework. I mean, this is in this day and time, it's hard to believe that, the government or whoever hasn't made it where everyone should be able to have Wi-Fi, because that's how they're doing everything now. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. And I think, there are programs, but a lot of times it doesn't cover all the areas and the communities that need them. Oh, that just touched my heart, for your father to do that. That just really touched me. We see that, sometimes our children are at a disadvantage in some communities because they don't have the same access. And this pandemic has caused some children who may not live in favorable conditions. Parents, they might be abusive uncles or maybe some alcoholism or whatever it is, and they're stuck in that environment for an extended period of time, not able to leave, where school was a place of a respite where they could leave and get out, get their energy and come back and just go back out again. And so even in that, for our children, as well as parents, it does cause even more mental issues. And one of the things that, Dr. King, that I'm very strong on, even at our church, we have a mental health department ministry. They're actually going to be meeting tonight. And it's just to really make sure that you are okay, because, we can sometimes over spiritualize things. And sometimes it's not a demon, right? It's not a spiritual oppression. Sometimes it's really mental, and it's just a health. Sometimes you just need guidance to walk through situations. And so even with our children, they need an avenue where they can walk through their feelings, their anxieties. They're seeing pandemic, they're seeing terrorism, they're seeing death all around them. And so they need a place where they can actually talk. And hopefully parents would be able to do that, but if not, to make sure that they do get that help.
I commend you for that. That's one of the things I was going to bring up, because, we have Dr. Nikisha Hammond, who does mental health moments, and she's been doing that for quite a few years for us.
She's amazing, Dr. King. I love it.
We are blessed. We are blessed, but I commend you for having that safe space in your church. That's one of the things that has always bothered me, that, and just like you, I've been in church all my life, and a lot of churches want to, like you say, cast out demons, speak in tongues over it, pray over it. So what are your feelings? Should all churches have that?
I think everyone needs to stay in their lane, but I would suggest that they do if they are able to, because I can tell you this, Dr. King, counseling is someone that is educated and experienced in that area. If you just put somebody over it and they're just going to tell you what they think you should do, or this is what happened to me, so it could cause more detriment. It could cause more problems than it could help. So I think a ministry would first have to make sure they have qualified people to actually lead the program, but it would really be beneficial. I know many of us have walked through valley seasons in our life. I walked through many valley seasons, and I had emotional trauma. Now, I love God and I praise him, but oftentimes I would suppress my emotional trauma and just worship God, and then suppress my emotional trauma and still worship God. But God never wants us to do that. He wants us to be transparent, and he wants us to release it to him so that we can be delivered from it. And the mental health aspect of it is releasing it. Once you can release it and then allow God to then work in you, that's the proper way of doing it. But let me tell you, if you don't deal with it now, it will deal with you later. That's for sure.
I agree. So, even if you don't have a mental health professional on staff, Dr. Hammond has talked about it many times. You can always bring one in from the outside, and it doesn't have to be like every week, every month. It could be periodic. And now they have telehealth. There's really no excuse for not getting help now, when you can turn on your phone or your computer or your tablet and somebody is right there. So that, we're not just here to talk about the bad things, but we're here to provide some solutions. These are really viable solutions that not only the churches and the schools and, individuals can use. If you have healthcare, and then that's a whole nother story. If you have healthcare, you can get a mental health professional online, and a lot of times it's the stigma. People don't want anyone to know that they're going into the office or whatever. So the pandemic has made this really a simple process. Would you agree?
I do. I do. And especially in our communities, that stigma sticks very strongly from the time we were younger all the way up until now. So it's like, what's wrong with you? Like you said, it's either go to church or you're not crazy. And so mention what you said, get somebody to come in that can do it, because that's how we started. We were in a storefront at the time when my church was smaller, and Joey Johnson from Ohio, Bishop Joey Johnson, he specialized in grief counseling. He came in, he taught, he sent a facilitator to train our facilitators, and we were able then to minister to our people. But it took another ministry. And that's what I think is very important in this time, even as BWE comes together. You know, we're bringing, ladies are all coming in from all socioeconomic backgrounds, different experience in life, different careers, but we're all coming together because we're better together. And that's one of the things why I love Orlando, at least in my circle. The pastors here, we come together and we are not in competition. We complement one another. And so if I have a need, that I can go to the pastor down the street and say, hey, it's really not about how many members you have or how many members this person have, but if you have some resources that I can utilize, I would like to either support you or maybe you can support me in it. And I think that if we as a community can have that kind of mindset, I think we will be so much further along.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. And so I'm gonna digress, I guess. In the Black church, that's what did you say?
Dr. King, when I met you, that's why you and I clicked, because when you started talking about how you like to connect people, how you like to support people that are doing something. It was just a matter of being a connector, being a unifier, because you were saying if ladies can come together, we're so much more powerful. And that's why you and I connected, right?
Absolutely. And for me, I think I've been blessed in that I just never had that jealous thing. I never even understood it, honestly. Because I look at it like God has something for all of us. You know, I may know social media, you know, ministry, you know, someone else knows something else. But guess what? If we all come together, how empowering can that be? Right. You know, this, and that's why I love BWE, and not because God gave me the vision, because I see so many women all over the world, and they're not just Black women. They're coming on from Indonesia, the UK, Canada. They come from everywhere. And we embrace women all over the world. The name, and I like to say this, the name is what it is. It's not changing. But if you're comfortable, we welcome you in. That's just, it's a sisterhood. Because basically, I mean, even though our life experiences are different, basically we all want the same thing. Exactly. We want to have a nice place to live. We want our kids to be okay, have good schools. You know, make a decent salary, you know, worship freely. Pretty much, that's what we want. And it doesn't matter if you're green, purple, brown, or Black. That's, you know, and you're a Christian. And let me just put that on there. That's what you want. So why can't we all work together?
Absolutely. And there is an anointing when there's unity. That's the key. People don't realize once you can come together. About it. Right? It's like that's when the comes, that's when the doors open, when people work together in unity. And I believe that's why BWE is so favored, because you promote unity, you promote togetherness, and you're always looking to see how we can do something to impact people in a positive way. And I think that's why BWE is so blessed.
Well, I thank you, and to God be the glory. I say that God, I was the vessel that God chose to launch this ministry, but since then he's brought in some amazing women like yourself, and you know, I don't take it lightly. We do have some amazing men and women, actually the men, because we also have Black men in power, and they come on. The funny thing is they don't take a salary. Everybody thinks somebody's getting paid, but they do this because they know this is ministry. This is their reasonable service to come on live and to empower the men and women through the ministry of Jesus Christ. That's what we do. And we do it with graphics. And you know, I've gotten letters from people, I remember this one letter this lady wrote, and this was years ago, and she wrote me and she said BWE is a lifeline for her. She was in a wheelchair and she was on the third floor. She couldn't get out to go to church. And she said, I don't know what I would do if it wasn't for BWE. Lives are being changed. People are accepting Christ when they come online, because the Bible says to go out in the highways and byways. It doesn't say stay in the four walls of the church. Right. My thing used to be, how many times can you get saved? If you, I mean, you going up to the altar every Sunday. Well, come on, let's go out and reach some other people. And that might be a little harsh because I'm not a pastor, but that's what I've always said.
That is true. I mean, churches are incubators. So you come to church to get a confirmation of the word that you already have with your personal relationship with the Lord. And then you get an impartation to strengthen you so that you can go back out and minister and be in the marketplace and affect change. Because if we stayed in the four walls of the church 24/7, we're in this world, we're not of this world, but we have to impact the world. And that's what we're called to do. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And I just think that the sisterhood, and I'm glad, and I will say I'm glad to partner with you and your husband on blackwomenempowered.net, because to me, the sisterhood, it's growing, and the women can come there and they can be themselves. They can share their blogs, they can share their ministry, they can share, what they're working on, they can collaborate, they can get ideas. Women come in and say, I'm struggling with this, and the women just jump in and say, okay, here's what you can do here. It's a strong bond. That's why I push it daily, because if you're not a part of blackwomenempowered.net, you need to be in there. You do, because it's worth it. And it's like you can get encouragement every day. That's what, the women inbox me and say, I just feel, some days I feel like I just need something. And so every day you're going to get encouragement, and we're going to support you. And as you support each other, and it's sisterhood, it's just, to me, it's magical even.
Yeah, even that word, when you say sisterhood, it feels safe. Sisterhood feels empowering. And then when you think about sisterhood, you know that someone has your back. And that is what BWE is. I mean, really, it's the way that it's set up, it's growing, but you can feel the strength behind it. And that's why I love it so much. And I think you've created an atmosphere, as you said, for women just to be their authentic self. They can come in as themselves. They can share their talents. They can share their dreams. They can share their desires to grow in business or ministry. And it's a place where they can get impartation from others and input from others. Because, I often say, I can tell you what to do, but I can tell you a lot of things what not to do. I've been in ministry over 25 years, over half of my life, and being a mom of 4 of a special needs son, there are a lot of women at BWE that have this valuable experience that it would take a lifetime to gain yourself, or tons and tons of money to go to school to get that lesson, when someone else can just impart that lesson to you. So I really love that fact.
Yeah, and we have some pretty powerful women that are in there that can share business knowledge, just wisdom, So I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for God giving, Dr. Watkins the vision to birth this, because it's something that's been on my heart. But everything is about timing.
Yes.
And I never try to move outside of timing, because it won't work. It has to be in God's timing. Right. And so I feel like this is it, and we're going into 10 years. November, 10 years with BWE. And honestly, I've been approached many, many, many times, but it's like I said, it's about God's timing. And I believe this is now more than ever with the pandemic. We need each other. I was locked in, but I was in my house for a year, pretty much just me. And can you imagine what that's like? You know, just me. I ain't got nobody to talk to. I mean, I have neighbors and all, but everybody's scared with the pandemic. Nobody's going to visit anybody.
Right.
And it's going. You know, the pandemic is going back up. People have anxiety. We're losing a lot of our people to
Yeah,
COVID.
we
You
are.
know, that's real.
It is real. And, one of the things that I've been walking through, I lost my best friend during COVID. She contracted the Delta virus. She was in the hospital for over 20 days. And in that time of just believing and praying but still grieving that she had to go through that. And then her passing, it has been very difficult. And, and I know people that are watching today, they have possibly know someone, because everyone knows someone, or it may be someone that's
Mhm.
close to them, a family member. One of our members had lost 6 family members in 4 weeks, close family members, and so that's what we're dealing with in the post pandemic, but still in the pandemic. It's like you said, Dr. King, it cycles. It's going back up, it's going back down. And so it's just a place where we have to have the sense of the wherewithal to say, hey, I know that this is a negative time, so how am I going to respond? It's not how am I going to react to this? How am I going to respond? How am I going to go through this and become better and not bitter? How am I going to come through this and understand that there are lessons that I'm going to be learning through this? So I'm not going to go on an emotional rant. I'm not going to get in a place and spiral down to complete nothing and depression, but I'm going to figure out a way how to maximize my gifts in this season. And then how can I help someone else? This is the key to breakthroughs in ministry, business, breakthrough in emotional fortification as far as who you are as a person, the authentic self. And many times we go through this rough patch, not realizing that God is also working some things in you, through you, to make it better for you when you come out. So how are you going to respond is the question.
I love that. So I'm going to get deep on you because, like I said, we're both church girls.
All right,
So
now.
I know that a lot of church people are not getting this shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know where to go with that. What are your feelings on it?
So my feelings, I think that each person makes that decision themselves, but I would pray that they're thinking of the community at large. That would be my desire. That is just not for selfish reasons. I have been talking to many people who have gotten the vaccination and who have not gotten a vaccination. Now, I know why to get it, of course, because it keeps us. But the ones I couldn't understand was, okay, so why aren't you getting it? Some of them say because they don't know what's in the vaccine. And some people watching today are saying, I don't know what's in that vaccine. It could be something that's going to kill off Black people, brown people, yellow people, whoever, we don't know. That's what they're saying, because it was not FDA approved. Others think it's just a setup for the system. They don't mind getting the vaccine. It's not a problem, but they think they're setting up a system to gain intel, to gain information, to have Big Brother more in your stuff. So that's why they don't want to get it. Not because anything with the vaccine, they just don't like it being forced upon them. And so it's just so many, and this is not Democratic or Republic, the people that I'm talking to. It's just the sense of the vaccination is in, the system is invading my personal life. So, it's just crazy. But for me, I know that I've seen people who had the vaccine and who didn't get a vaccine, and there's a drastic difference of mortality. Those that got the vaccine, mild symptoms; many who did not get the vaccine, severe and even death.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But that statement, I don't know what's in it. That to me, that's kind of because we don't know what's in the flu shot.
Mm-hmm.
People have been taking the flu shot for years. We don't know what's in the shots that our kids are getting before they go to school, but it's mandatory. You have to do it. That's a really, really crappy excuse. I'm sorry. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
You know, it just is.
Hmm. And I think a lot of people, it stems from fear, because it's something that's global. Like, this is the first time that it's been global. Pandemics have happened in parts of countries and parts and segments of societies, even if it was a large segment, but it had never been actually global before. So a lot of people are moving out of fear instead of maybe common sense in some cases.
Yeah, but then, I'm hearing that a lot of people, once they get it and they're like, you know, and actually I saw it on TV. There was a guy that had it, and he filmed a recording, and he said that he felt so bad. I don't know if you saw it. And he said that he was going to get the shot as soon as he got over. We never got over. He died. He was 29 years old. 29 years old.
That's been a
There is
statement.
no guarantee that you're going to get over it.
No, it isn't. And a lot of people, when they go into the hospital, as you said, they're begging for the shot when they go into the hospital. And oftentimes
And you
it's too.
can't get it. You can't get it while you're in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, yeah. It's really sad. And as you said, it's touched our community in such a horrific way that I think some people are dull to it. There are many people, I don't know if you realize, Dr. King, that don't read the newspaper. They don't look at the news. They're not even aware of the statistics. And so their life may be just Instagram or Facebook or uh, social media,
Mm.
TikTok. And so they're not even aware of how drastic things are. And it's just amazing. If you don't have the knowledge, you will make the wrong decision. And so you can't go off of just what someone
Social
said.
media.
You can't. I mean, that is not valid. That is not confirmed. You have to research it yourself. And that's what I'm finding. Some of our community, they're not actually reading or doing the research themselves to find out what's really going on.
And what does the Bible say? In all thy ways, what?
Get knowledge, understanding.
Okay?
Yes.
Understanding.
Understanding.
And so when you understand, you know, and here's the thing I say about it, and I'm not like an advocate for the shot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. They're not paying me or anything like that. But when you look at it at the percentage of people who are dying that didn't get it as opposed to who did get it, that's just common. I mean, it's right there in your face. You can't dispute that. That's real.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I think that the statistics are there, And so, like I said, when you first asked, people have their reasons, and, you can't, uh, I don't judge everyone's reason why they do what they do, but I can only
Right.
know what I'm doing and like what's safe for my family and what's safe for our ministry as well. And so we always afford that opportunity for people. I know that you have to be careful, because there's some people that we're getting fake shots report to say they got their vaccination. They get
I know. I heard that.
and so it takes faith to get that, and it takes faith not to get it. And so you just have to be in the right, use the wisdom of God, and don't operate in fear, but use the wisdom that God has given you. And as you said, some of it is just common sense.
Yeah.
Don't
So
overanalyze.
anyway, even if you do have the shot, to me, I wear my mask still. I know you do. I know when I saw you, yeah, because still, I mean, you're still red risk, because now they're having these breakthroughs. So I encourage everybody to,
Not only wear the mask, Dr. King, not only wear the mask, but stay healthy. Make sure you're taking your vitamins. Make sure you're exercising. Make sure you keep your immune system up. Keep them hands clean. That is one of the best ways also to counteract the virus, to keep all that mucus out of your body, the yeast and all that. And it's a way of gaining your health, but also staying strong and your immunity from these other variants that we're seeing.
Absolutely, and I agree. It is important, and a lot of black and brown people are morbidly obese,
Hmm.
and so we already know that the virus attacks obese people at a high rate, and then you got the diabetes and the blood pressure and all of that other stuff. Um, so yeah, if you can, I mean, I started taking it serious, and I recently lost quite a bit of weight myself. Because I mean, because most of the people in the pandemic they blew up. I started like cutting back because I don't want to be a statistic. And when your time has come, when it's here, it's here. But there are things that you can do, to stay safe or to help prevent, diseases and, getting sick, and even just plain old feeling good.
Yeah,
As you
exactly.
get older, it gets rough. I mean, trying to lose weight when you're in your 60s, girl, it ain't no joke.
Yeah. All right.
It's for real because your metabolism slows down.
Yeah, you have to have
So
either extreme exercise to get that metabolism running, or eat a certain way to get your hormones in place. It's a lot of work. You remember there used to be time to lose weight. All we had to do was like run around the house.
girl, I mean, like it would
Wait,
just fall off.
it would just fall off, as you say, or miss a couple of meals. Hey, we were good, but now,
Some days are gone.
yes, now you just look at the food and boom, it's there. So it's a whole
One
different.
piece of cake, 10 pounds.
That is so true. Yes.
But yeah, but we just, I mean, we're here because we care about you, we love you, and we just wanted to share some knowledge, and we really do appreciate all the women because we have some faithful followers. When I tell you, we have people who have been following us since the very beginning.
Wonderful.
We're blessed. Yeah,
That, yeah.
we are blessed,
And it
and
says,
and they sow into the ministry, and that's a blessing too. They sow because they know that we help people. We pay people's light bills. We give to food banks. We give clothing. Uh, there's a whole bunch that we do. Veterans. So they sow into the ministry. And by the way, let me say, if you want to sow, you can go to blackwomenempowered.org, and you can sow there. You also can submit your prayer request on that page. But anyway, Pastor Reva, thank you so much for this time. I hope that we have encouraged someone. And again, Queens, go on over to blackwomenempowered.net. We want to meet you over there. Pastor Reva and I are both there. You can inbox us. You can chat with us. I mean we can really touch each other. So it's a good thing. And so we look forward to growing with you, helping you to get to where you want, because we know that there's a purpose. God has a purpose for each and every one of you. Pastor Reva, I love you. I thank you so much.
I
And
love you.
thank everyone. Until the next time, be encouraged and know that we love you and there's nothing you can do about it. God bless.
God bless.